Hello students, in today's lecture we will discuss chapter 19 Chemical Coordination and Integration Theory Part 2, and in today's session we will cover NCERT section 19.2. So this is disclaimer. These will be our learning objectives for today. We will understand how pineal gland secretes melatonin, which is a hormone, and how it regulates sleep-wake cycle and seasonal rhythms. Then we will learn about the thyroid gland, which produces thyroxine hormone, which helps in regulating metabolism, growth, and development. Then we will also discuss parathyroid gland, which secretes parathyroid hormone, and how it helps in maintaining calcium phosphate balance in the body. Then we will also learn about thymus gland, which produces thymosin, which is a hormone which which helps in regulating T lymphocyte maturation as well as provides cell-mediated immunity. So this is our index. So we will start with the pineal gland, then we will discuss thyroid gland, then we will discuss parathyroid gland as well as thymus. Then we will bind up the chapter with summary. Then we will discuss some NCERT-based questions. Finally, we'll end this session with keynotes and interesting questions. So let's start with the introduction. Pineal gland. It is located on the dorsal side of the forebrain and it is a small endocrine gland that plays a key role in regulating circadian rhythm by producing melatonin, which helps controlling our sleep-wake cycle. So it is located on the dorsal side of the forebrain. As I have just discussed, that it is located on the dorsal side of the forebrain and it is a small endocrine gland that produces the hormone melatonin. And now talking about this function, melatonin helps in regulating the body's sleep-wake cycle by responding to the light and dark signals and promoting sleep during the night time and producing it during the day, thus playing a key role in maintaining circadian rhythm. Let's talk about functions specifically. So the biological processes that regulate the 24-hour rhythm of our body, it is called as circadian rhythm, which is controlled by a part of the brain which is called as hypothalamus, specifically the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN. So this rhythm helps our body adjust to the day and night cycle, but controlling functions like sleep, body temperature, and hormone release, ensuring our physical and mental activities are in sync with the environment. Okay, so it regulates our 24-hour circadian rhythm. Talking about examples, we have sleep-wake cycle, body temperature. So melatonin controls our sleep-wake cycle, or we can say circadian rhythm as well as body temperature. So hormones, we have talked about it earlier also, that these are chemical messengers that play a key role in regulating metabolism by controlling how the body uses energy, affecting pigmentation by influencing melanin production, as well as regulating the menstrual cycle by controlling the hormonal changes that occur during the female reproductive cycle. So this melatonin influences metabolism, pigmentation, as well as menstrual cycle. So it helps in regulating the body's 24-hour rhythm, including our sleep-wake cycle and body temperature. In despite of this, it also affects the metabolism, pigmentation, and menstrual cycle that we have just discussed, and even defense mechanism. So it has wide function. So it regulates our circadian cycle. Then examples include sleep-wake cycle and body temperature. It also influences metabolism, pigmentation, menstrual cycle, as well as it influences our defense capacity. Okay. Let's talk about thyroid gland. You can see the structure of thyroid gland in this picture. Talking about its location, two lobes on either side of the trachea are thyroid gland. So the trachea, we know, which is a windpipe, has two lobes on either side of it. These two lobes are part of the tracheal cartilage rings that support and keep the trachea open, allowing air to pass freely during breathing. So the structure ensures that airway remains clear as well as protected, facilitating the movement of air into and out of the lungs. So it is connected, thyroid gland is connected to the trachea by a thin flap of connective tissue called as isthmus, which helps keep the gland in place and ensures it functions properly during breathing as well as swallowing. Let's talk about composition. It is made up of follicles filled with thyroid gland, thyroid hormone, and supporting stromal tissues which helps in hormone production as well as storage. Each follicle here consists of follicular cells that surround and enclose the central cavity. So the structure form part of the follicle's anatomy, which plays a key role in development and function of the associated glandular tissue. Let's talk about hormones. So follicular cells in the thyroid gland produces the hormones thyroxine, which is T4, and triiodothyronine, which is T3, which are very important, or we can say they are essential for regulating metabolism, growth, and development in the body. So these hormones are made from iodine, which and the amino acid, which is named as tyrosine. Okay, so tyrosine and iodine plays a key role in here, and they are released into the bloodstream to affect various organs as well as tissues. The thyroid gland, besides producing hormones like T3 and T4, it also releases a protein hormone which is called as tyrocalcitonin, which is TCT, which helps in controlling the amount of calcium in the blood by reducing the release of calcium from the bones into the bloodstream. Let's talk about iodine. So it is a vital nutrient that the thyroid gland needs to produce thyroid hormones which regulate metabolism and very important for growth and development, especially in children. Okay, so without enough iodine, the thyroid cannot make these hormones properly, leading to health issues like goiter or hypothyroidism. So therefore, iodine is very important for maintaining normal function of the thyroid gland and overall bodily function. You can see the function in this picture. Let's discuss them in detail. Thyroid gland, we have just discussed, it produces hormones that help control the body's basic metabolic rate, which is the rate at which the body uses energy even when at rest. So this hormone function is essential for maintaining body temperature, heart rate, and overall energy levels, and it plays a key role in growth and development, especially in children. So it supports the process of RBC production, red blood cell formation or production by producing and releasing the hormone thyroxine, T4, which regulates the body's metabolic rate. So this hormone helps in the utilization of nutrients including iron and proteins, which are essential for the production of hemoglobin, which is the oxygen carrying component of the RBCs. So thus we can say that thyroid gland indirectly aids in the formation of RBCs by maintaining a healthy metabolic environment, which is very important for erythropoiesis. So it regulates how the body uses carbohydrate, protein, and fats for energy, which is very important for maintaining proper metabolism. When the thyroid produces enough hormones, it helps the body efficiently convert food into energy, supporting growth, development, and overall bodily function. So if the thyroid is underactive or overactive, it can disrupt this process, leading to health issues like weight gain, fatigue, or weight loss. So this role of thyroid gland is very important for keeping the body's metabolic processes in balance. It helps in maintaining water electrolyte balance in the body by producing the hormones like T3 and T4, which regulate the rate of metabolism. We have discussed it earlier also. So these hormones influence how the body uses water and minerals such as sodium, potassium, and calcium. When thyroid hormone levels are very normal, they help the body efficiently manage fluid balance and electrolyte levels, ensuring proper functioning of cells, nerves, and muscles. So this process is important for maintaining homeostasis in the body. So we can summarize in this way that thyroid hormones it helps in regulation of basal metabolic rate, which is BMR. It supports the process of RBC formation, red blood cell formation. It also controls metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, as well as fats, and it also helps in maintaining water as well as electrolyte balance. In the picture, you can see normal condition and the condition of goiter, which is the inflammation of a thyroid gland. Let's talk about some disorders which are related to thyroid gland. First, let's talk about hypothyroidism. So it happens due to iodine deficiency occurs when the thyroid gland doesn't produce enough thyroid hormone because there is not enough iodine in the diet, which is very important for hormone synthesis. So that leads to slow down in metabolic processes, causing symptoms like weight gain, fatigue, and cold intolerance. So it's a common preventable condition, especially in regions with low iodine content in the soil and water, and can be addressed by consuming iodine-rich food, or we can say iodinized salt. So goiter, it is the enlargement of the thyroid gland, which occurs mainly due to deficiency of iodine in the diet. The thyroid gland, we know that it requires iodine to produce hormones that regulate metabolism. When there is no, or we can say there is less amount of iodine, the gland enlarges in an attempt to trap more and more iodine from the blood, leading to a visible swallowing in the neck. This condition is very common in areas where iodine intake is very low and can be prevented by consuming iodine-rich food or using iodinized salt in our food. So in this picture, you can see the condition of cretinism. Let's talk about it in detail. First, talk about hypothyroidism during pregnancy. So it is a condition where thyroid gland does not produce enough thyroid hormones, which are very important for the baby's brain development as well as the mother's health. So it can lead to complications like preterm birth, low birth weight, and developmental issues in the child. So untreated hypothyroidism can also affect the mother's heart and increase the risk of miscarriage. So it is very important to monitor and manage thyroid function during pregnancy to ensure a healthy outcome for both mother as well as baby. So its malfunction during pregnancy can lead to defective development in the baby, affecting brain and physical growth of the baby. So the thyroid gland, when underactive, leads to cretinism, causing stunted growth and mental delays in the children. So we know that thyroid gland is very important for brain development. So lack of these hormones in early life leads to mental retardation as the brain doesn't develop properly without them. Okay, so it leads to lack of it leads to mental retardation. It also causes low IQ by affecting brain development, especially in children. This is due to insufficient thyroid hormones, which are very crucial for cognitive growth. So it also results in abnormal skin. Okay, it can cause abnormal skin like dryness or swallowing due to hormonal imbalances. So it can cause deep mutism due to hypothyroidism, affecting neural development, especially in children, which can eventually lead to hearing and speech impairments as well. In adults, thyroid issues can disrupt menstrual cycle in women, causing irregular periods. This happens because thyroid hormones regulate metabolism and reproductive functions, and imbalances can affect the overall menstrual cycle of women. Okay, so in adults, specifically in women, it causes irregular menstrual cycles. Let's talk about other disorders as well. So let's talk about hypothyroidism. It is when the thyroid gland produces too much thyroid hormone, speeding up bodily function, and it causes weight loss, rapid heartbeat, and anxiety. So common causes include Graves' disease when the immune system attacks the thyroid. So it's treated with medicine, surgery, or radioactive iodine. Thyroid cancer nodules can cause thyroid gland issues, leading to hormonal imbalances. These growths may disrupt normal hormone production and affect metabolism and other bodily functions. So, when the thyroid gland becomes overactive, it produces too much thyroid hormone, leading to hypothyroidism. Okay, and this causes symptoms like weight loss, anxiety, and rapid heartbeat as excess hormone speed up bodily functions. So, it negatively affects body physiology by disrupting metabolism, causing weight gain, fatigue, and hormonal imbalances. Hyperthyroidism specifically leads to weight loss, okay, because it results in abnormally high thyroid hormone levels, which eventually increases the metabolic rate, okay, and thus it affects body physiology negatively, okay, and it is primarily caused by thyroid cancer or nodules. Let's talk about Graves' disease. It is a kind of goiter disease, but here it affects the eye tissues as well. It is a type of hypothyroidism causing eye bulging due to immune attack on thyroid and eyes. So it speeds up body functions. So it causes uh, It is characterized by enlarged thyroid gland. Okay, it leads to enlarged thyroid, or we can say exophthalmic goiter, where eyes bulge due to immune system attacks on the thyroid and as well as eye tissue. So when thyroid gland becomes overactive, it causes exophthalmos, or we can say protruding eyeballs due to swelling behind the eyes, often linked to Graves' disease, which is a common autoimmune disorder affecting the thyroid as well as eyes. So it increases, we know thyroid gland increases basal metabolic rate by releasing hormones that boost energy use in cells, helping regulating body temperature and growth. So this is key for normal bodily functions. So it increases basal metabolic rate. So we have just discussed that it increases metabolism, which will eventually lead to weight loss despite normal eating. Okay, so this happens due to excess thyroid hormone, which speeds up the bodily function. So in summary, we can say exophthalmic goiter is a form of hypothyroidism. It is characterized by enlarged thyroid gland. It shows protrusion of eyeballs. Okay, here eyes are protruding. Then it increases basal metabolic rate, and it also results in weight loss. Let's talk about parathyroid gland. In this picture also you can see the yellow structure, the 4 yellow dots. Those are parathyroid glands. So these are 4 small glands located on the back side of the thyroid gland, with one pair in each lobe of the thyroid. They play a key role in regulating calcium levels in the blood by producing a hormone which is called as parathyroid hormone, or PTH, which helps in releasing calcium from the bones into the bloodstream when calcium levels are too low. So it plays a key role in regulating calcium and phosphorus levels in the blood. When blood calcium levels are too low, PTH is released to increase calcium levels by stimulating bone reabsorption, enhancing calcium reabsorption in the kidneys, and promoting calcium absorption in the intestines. So this ensures that calcium remains within the normal range for proper functioning of nerves as well as muscles. So this hormone helps increase blood calcium levels by stimulating the release of calcium from the bones, and it increases calcium absorption in the intestines, and it also reduces calcium excretion through the kidney. So this regulation overall ensures that the calcium levels remains within the normal range, which is very important for proper nerve as well as muscle function. You can see the functions of parathyroid gland in this picture. Let's talk about them briefly. The parathyroid gland releases a hormone called PTH, which is a hypercalcemic hormone, meaning it raises the level of calcium ion in the blood. So this happens by making the bones release calcium, increasing calcium absorption in the intestines, and reducing calcium excretion through the kidney. So this ensures that the blood calcium level stays within the normal range, which is very important for proper nerve and muscle function. So it releases, we have talked about parathyroid hormone, which acts on the bones to break them down, releasing calcium in the blood. Okay, so this process is known as bone resorption. It helps in maintaining proper calcium levels in the body, which is very important for the functions like muscle contraction and nerve signaling. So when calcium levels are low, PTH stimulates the kidneys to reabsorb more calcium from the urine back into the blood, ensuring that the body maintains adequate calcium levels for proper functioning, and especially this is applied for bones and nerves. So PTH, parathyroid hormone, we have just discussed, it helps in increasing the absorption of calcium ion from the digested food in the intestine, ensuring that enough of calcium is absorbed into the bloodstream to maintain proper bodily function. So it increases calcium absorption from the digested food as well. So PTH work against TCT, okay, which is thyrocalcitonin, which is a hormone from the thyroid gland, which lowers body calcium levels. Okay, together they maintain a balanced level of calcium in the blood, ensuring proper functioning of muscles, nerves, and other body systems. So they work antagonistically. One increases the calcium level, one decreases the calcium level. Okay, TCT, which is thyrocalcitonin, it lowers the calcium levels. And talking about parathyroid gland, parathyroid hormone specifically, it increases calcium level in the blood. Okay, so they both work antagonistically to maintain calcium balance in the body. Let's talk about thymus. It is a small lobular gland located between the lungs, behind the sternum, and on the ventral side of the aorta. It plays a key role in the development of immune system by helping T cells mature, which are very important for fighting against any kind of infections. So this is an important gland in the immune system, especially during childbirth. It helps in the development of T cells, which are a type of WBC that fight against infection. This process is very important for building a strong immune system, allowing the body to recognize and attack harmful pathogens effectively. So we have just discussed that it is a thymus is a small gland located in the chest, and it plays a key role in the immune system by helping to develop T cells, which are important for fighting against infection. So the thymus produces hormone which is called as thymosins, which are peptide hormones that helps in the maturation of T cells and also regulate the immune response. So these hormones are crucial for proper functioning of the immune system, especially during early life. Let's talk about functions. It is an important organ in the immune system where T lymphocytes or T cells mature and learn to recognize foreign invaders. In context of cell-mediated immunity, the thymus helps these T cells differentiate to specialized cells that can directly attack infected or cancerous cells. So thus it plays a key role in defending the body against any kind of diseases. So it plays a key role in the immune system by training these T lymphocytes, we can say T cells, to recognize and attack harmful pathogens. While the thymus is more involved in cell-mediated immunity, it also supports humoral immunity by promoting the production of antibodies, which are the protein, which are kind of protein that help neutralize pathogens in the bloodstream. So this process is essential for the body to develop immunity against various diseases. So, this gland is larger at birth and gradually shrinks and becomes less active as person ages, which is a process called as involution. So, this happens because the thymus is mainly involved in producing and maturing T cells, which are very important for fighting infections, and this process is most active during early life. So, as we grow older, the thymus becomes less effective, which can impact the immune response in older individuals. So as people get older, the thymus shrinks and produces less thymosins, which weakens the immune system, making older individuals more prone to infections and diseases. This is why the immune system becomes less effective with age. The thymogens promote differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide cell-mediated immunity. It promotes production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity as well. So thymus is large at the birth but degenerates with age, and this results in decreased production of thymogens, weakening the immune response in old individuals. So let's find up the chapter with summary. We discussed about pineal gland, which is located in the brain, secretes melatonin hormone, regulates sleep wake cycle, influences metabolism, pigmentation, and menstrual cycle. Then we discussed about thyroid gland as well. It is located in the neck. It releases T3 and T4 hormones. It requires iodine for hormone synthesis. Then we talked about functions as well. It regulates metabolism, controls growth and development, influences mental development, maintains body temperature. Okay. Then we also discussed about parathyroid gland. It is located behind thyroid, secretes parathyroid hormone, which is PTH. We also discussed about their function. It regulates how it helps in regulation of calcium levels, how it controls phosphate levels in the bloodstream, how it is important for bone health as well. Then we also talked about thymus. It is located behind the sternum. It is largest in childhood and it reduces or we can say shrinks with ages. Then we also talked about their functions. It releases T lymphocytes and it is very important for immunity as well as it secretes thymosin hormone and aids in development of immune system. Then we also talked about some these some disorders as well, some related disorders as well. We talked about hypothyroidism, which is a condition of low thyroid function. Then we also talked about hyperthyroidism, which is a condition of excess thyroid function. Then we also talked about goiter, which is a condition of enlarged thyroid gland. Then we also talked about tetany, which is a condition of low calcium level due to parathyroid dysfunction. So let's discuss some NCRT based questions. This is assertion reason type question. An assertion here is pineal gland secretes melatonin, which influences circadian rhythm. Reason given, melatonin levels are higher during daytime and lower at night. So we have to opt the correct answer. Let's opt the correct one. So here option number C is correct, which is A is true, but R is false. Okay, assertion is true, reason is false. We know that pineal gland is indeed responsible for producing melatonin. We know that it is a small gland located in the brain and it is responsible for producing melatonin, which is a hormone that helps in circadian rhythm of our body. Okay, so it is released in response to darkness and it decreases in the presence of light, signaling the body when it's time to wake or sleep. So thus it play a key role in maintaining our circadian rhythm. So melatonin is a hormone that plays a crucial role in regulating circadian rhythm, or we can say our sleep-wake cycle. It helps controlling our biological clock and synchronizes our daily rhythm. So melatonin levels are lower during daytime and higher at night. Whereas in the reason it is written, melatonin levels are higher during daytime and lower at night. So the statement is antagonist to the our provided statement. Okay. So melatonin levels are lower during daytime and higher at night. Melatonin production increases in the evening and peaks in the middle of the night. Light suppresses melatonin production, which is why levels are lower during the daylight hours. So this pattern helps promote sleep at night and wakefulness during the day. Now this is question number second, and this is also assertion and reason type. And here assertion is given. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy can lead to severe development defects in the fetus. Reason given, thyroid hormones are essential for normal growth as well as development. So you have to opt the correct option. Here option number A is correct, that is both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So maternal thyroid hormones are essential for proper development of the fetus, especially during the first trimester when the fetal thyroid has not yet started working. So these hormones help in the growth of the brain and nervous system of the baby, and a deficiency can lead to serious developmental issues. Since the fetus cannot produce its own thyroid hormones initially, the mother's thyroid function plays a key role in ensuring the baby's healthy development. So it is crucial for fetal development, especially during the first trimester before the fetal thyroid gland becomes functional. Untreated hypothyroidism during pregnancy can lead to maternal complications, fetal developmental issues, preterm birth, low birth weight, and increased risk of miscarriage. So impaired brain development here refers to disruptions in the normal growth and organization of the brain, affecting cognitive, emotional, and behavioral functions. It can result from genetic, environmental, or we can say prenatal factors, leading to long-term challenges in learning, behavior, and overall brain function. So children with lower IQ may face challenges in learning and problem solving. This can affect their academic performance and social interactions. So early support and tailored education can help them reach their potential. It is very important to provide a nurturing environment that encourages growth and development. Yeah, it will lead to increased risk of miscarriage as well, and it will also lead to growth retardation, which is slowed or halted physical growth often observed in children. So it may result from nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, or underlying medical conditions. It can also lead to birth defects, which are the congenital abnormalities present at the birth, affecting organs or body systems. So they can result from genetic factors, environmental influences, or we can say unknown causes. So these conditions vary in severity and may impact physical or developmental health, requiring medical intervention or long-term care. You can see different functions of thyroid gland. So it regulates metabolism. They are crucial for brain development. They control cell differentiation. They influences bone growth as well as they affect protein synthesis and are very important for proper organ development. Now this is question number 3 and the question given is a patient shows symptoms of hypocalcemia, muscle spasms and tetany. Recent blood tests show high phosphate levels. Which of the following is most likely the will be the diagnosis? Okay, we have given 4 options. So here correct one is hypoparathyroidism. Let's talk about it in detail. So it is characterized by low levels of parathyroid hormone leading to decreased calcium levels in the blood, hypo or we can say hypocalcemia and elevated phosphate levels, which is called as hyperphosphatemia. Okay, so it involves reduced parathyroid hormone production leading to low calcium levels and high phosphate level in the blood. This disrupts whole calcium regulation in the body, affecting nerve and muscle function, and may cause symptoms like tingling or we can say spasms as well as shivers. Okay, so it often results from damage or removal of the parathyroid gland. It leads to low serum calcium levels due to reduced parathyroid hormone production. So this results in decreased calcium absorption and increased urinary calcium loss, causing symptoms like muscle spasms and tingling. Management here involves calcium and vitamin D supplementation to restore normal levels. So hyperthyroidism leads to low parathyroid hormone, reducing phosphate excretion, and this results in elevated blood phosphate levels, causing mineral imbalances and potential complications like kidney stones or nerve issues. Clinical manifestations include tetany, muscle spasms, as well as shivers. So this is question number 4. This is also of assertion and reason type. And assertion given in here is thymus gland undergoes atrophy with age, whereas reason given the thymus is active during early childhood and is not required in the adults. You have to opt the correct option. So here option number 3 is correct, which is A is true, that the assertion is true, but R is false. Reason is false. Let's see why. To know that thyroid gland shrinks with age, a process which is known as involution. So this atrophy introduces its ability to produce T cells, impacting immune function. The decline is linked to hormonal changes and cellular aging, leading to weakened adaptive immunity in older individuals. The thymic involution refers to the gradual shrinkage as well as functional decline of the thymus gland, primarily occurring with aging. So this process involves the reduction of the thymic tissues and a decrease in the production of T cells, impacting immune system efficiency in older individuals. It plays a key role in immune system development, starting in the puberty and lasting a lifetime. So it produces T cells essential for adaptive immunity and supports their maturation. So this process ensures that the body can recognize and combat pathogens effectively throughout the life. So know that it is active in children, it is active in childhood, and it plays a key role in immune system development by training T cells. Though less active with age, it maintains essential functions throughout the life, supporting immune responses and adapting to new pathogens. Its role evolves, ensuring ongoing immune support across the lifespan. It continues to generate T cells in adults a bit at slower pace than in the childhood. So this gradual decline reflects its role in immune system maturation and adaptation. While its activity diminishes with age, it still contributes to maintaining immune function throughout the life. It sustains immunological memory by nurturing T cells which recall past pathogens. So this enables the immune system to swiftly respond to previously encountered threats, enhancing long-term protection without requiring new infections, which supports adult immune function by maturing T cells essential for adaptive immunity. Okay, it fosters T cell differentiation and selection, ensuring they recognize pathogens while avoiding self reactivity. So this whole process strengthens immune responses and maintains long-term immune health in the adults. So it plays a key role in sustaining immune function over lifetime. It matures T cells essential for adaptive immunity, ensures the body can recognize and combat pathogens effectively as it ages. So this continuous process supports long-term immune health as well as response efficiency. So this is question number 5 and it is of match the following type. Okay. We have given column 1 and column 2 and we have to correctly match column 1 with column 2. And we have given 4 options. So we have to opt the correct one. Here option number A is correct, which is melatonin will match with controls. Second, which is controls circadian rhythm. Then B, which is thyroxine, is matched with 4, which is it controls basal metabolic rate. Then C, which is parathormone, it is matched with 1, which is regulates calcium homeostasis. And D, it is thymosin, is matched with 3, which is it promotes T lymphocyte maturation. Let's discuss the answer in brief. Let's talk about first melatonin. So it is produced by the pineal gland. It is known as the sleep hormone and primary function includes regulation. It regulates circadian rhythms of our body. But it acts like a body internal clock. So it is a hormone that primarily regulates the body's internal clock, aligning physiological processes with the day-night cycle. So it helps controlling sleep-wake patterns by signaling when it's time to sleep, influencing various bodily functions in harmony with environmental life changes. It controls sleep-wake cycle as we have just discussed. Then let's talk about B, which is thyroxine. It is produced by the thyroid gland, key hormone in metabolic regulation. Okay, it influences energy production, growth, and development. And we have just discussed it effectively nearly all cells, controlling how the body uses energy and maintains homeostasis. Its levels are tightly regulated by the hypothalamus as well as pituitary gland. It controls basal metabolic rate. Okay, it influences energy use at rest as well. It affects cellular processes by increasing oxygen consumption and heat production, essential for maintaining core bodily functions and thermoregulation. It influences growth as well as development. Let's talk about C, which is parathormone. It is produced by parathyroid gland. It is very important for calcium homeostasis. It regulates calcium and phosphate levels in the blood, and it is very important for bone metabolism. Then let's talk about thymosin. It is produced by the thymus. It is important for immune system development. It helps the body recognize and respond to pathogens effectively. It contributes to the formation of functional immune cells as well, and it enhances overall immune system. It promotes T lymphocyte maturation. So it supports the development of T lymphocytes, enhancing their ability to recognize and respond to pathogens. So it plays a key role in strengthening the immune system's adaptive response by ensuring T cells that they need to be fully functional and prepared for immune challenges. So they are important for immune response as well. So this is question number 6, and the question is, a rare condition called as Dye-George syndrome is associated with. So we have given 4 options. Let's see the correct one. Option number A is correct, which is congenital absence of thymus. Let's discuss the answer. So Dye-George syndrome is the primary immunodeficiency disorder characterized by the absence or hypoplasia of thymus and parathyroid gland, leading to immune deficiency and endocrine abnormalities. Thymic hypoplasia, or we can say aplasia, refers to the underdevelopment or complete absence of the thymus gland from the birth. So this condition affects T cell maturation, leading to immune deficiencies and increased susceptibility to infections. So it is often associated with Dye-George syndrome. It is a congenital condition where parathyroid glands are underdeveloped. So this can lead to low calcium levels in the blood, causing symptoms like muscle spasms and tingling. So it results from incomplete development of these glands during fetal growth. Cardiac defects refers to here abnormalities in the heart structure or function present at birth. These can include issues like septal defects, valve malformations, or we can say improper heart chamber development, leading to impaired blood flow and potential long-term cardiovascular complications. So congenital absence of thymus may lead to facial abnormalities as well due to disrupted immune development and potential secondary effects on facial structure. So this condition, known as Dye-George syndrome, can result in characteristic facial features such as micrognathia or hypertelorism and a small jaw. These abnormalities arise from impaired neural crystal migration as well as their development. So it is often linked to mutations in genes involved in immune system development, leading to severe combined immune deficiency. And this condition is typically diagnosed at birth, requires lifetime medical management. So it is caused by a deletion in chromosome 22. Okay. So it results from from a deletion on chromosome 22, leading to developmental issues affecting multiple systems. It is associated with heart defect, immune dysfunction, and neurological problems, often requiring multidisciplinary care for management. The 22 deletion syndrome, which is also called as Catch-22, is a genetic disorder we have just discussed. We can also call it as Catch-22. It is caused by the deletion of small segment of the chromosome 22. It leads to a range of developmental and health issues, including heart defect, immune problems, and learning disabilities. Main clinical manifestations. So it leads to immunodeficiency as a thymus is essential for T cell development. So without it, the immune system lacks critical adaptive defenses, increasing susceptibility to infections. On this condition, when associated with chromosomal abnormalities, results in impaired cellular, or we can say impaired cell-mediated immunity. So congenital thymus absence leads to T cell deficiency, increasing infection risk. So hypocalcemia, we know, may occur due to parathyroid hyperplasia impairing calcium regulation. Okay, it can impair normal calcium regulation, and this combination results in immune and metabolic dysfunction from early life. So it is also associated with cardiac. It may also associate with cardiac anomalies. Okay, characteristic facial features such as small flat face, down slanting eyes, and broad nasal bridge. These are some characteristic features of it. These traits are often part of broader syndrome affecting multiple systems, but facial appearance is the key diagnostic clue. Let's talk about immune system effects. How it affects immune system. So, impaired T cell development. It will lead to impaired C cell development. It will lead to increased susceptibility towards or we can say against infection. It may lead to cellular immunodeficiency. Now this is question number 7, and the question is, which of the following is incorrectly matched? We have given 4 options and you have to opt the correct one. Let's see the answer. So here option number D is correct, which is parathyroid hormone. It will lead to decreased bone reabsorption. Okay, this is wrong. So let's talk about it. We know that parathyroid hormone stimulates bone reabsorption by activating osteoclasts, which break down bone tissue to release calcium into the bloodstream. So this process reduces bone density and strength over time, contributing to conditions like osteoporosis. Let's talk about its main function. It leads to increasing in bone resorption, okay, breaking down bone to release calcium, okay. And here it is written opposite. In the option, it is written parathyroid hormone, it leads to decreased bone reabsorption. But here, we know that it leads to increased bone resorption by breaking down the bone to release calcium in the blood. It leads to increased calcium reabsorption in kidneys as well. Okay, so the process reduces this. Enhance calcium reabsorption in the kidneys. It helps in maintaining blood calcium levels. Okay, and this whole process reduces calcium loss through urine, ensuring adequate calcium availability for bodily functions. So it reflects a regulatory mechanism in mineral homeostasis. So calcium is more effectively absorbed from the intestines, enhancing its ability in the bloodstream. So this mechanism supports bone health and overall mineral balance in the body. So increased phosphate excretion in the kidneys results from reduced reabsorption, often due to hormonal imbalances or dietary factors, which leads to lower blood phosphate levels, triggering compensatory mechanisms to restore balance. We know A is correctly matched with A is the correct option, which is in terms of question it is wrong, but T3 is matched with triiodothyronine, which is correct. Okay. because indeed it is T3 is triiodothyronine. Okay, we can call it these are same. We can call it T3 as well. We can also call it triiodothyronine. So it is a hormone. We know that it is very important for regulating metabolism. It influences energy production, growth, and development by interacting with cellular receptors. And we know that T3 is more potent than T4, and it plays a key role in maintaining metabolic balance in our body. So this is a thyroid hormone produced by the thyroid gland. Then B is also correct that calcitonin is matched with parafollicular cells. Okay, we know that calcitonin is produced by the parafollicular T cells in the we can see cells in the thyroid gland. So it regulates calcium levels by inhibiting bone reabsorption, and this hormone counteracts parathyroid hormone effect, maintaining calcium homeostasis in the body. So these cells differ from follicular cells which synthesize thyroid hormone T3 and T4. They are separate in function, contributing to thyroid regulation without directly producing hormone. So their role is distinct in maintaining thyroid homeostasis. So thymosin is matched with the lymphocyte maturation, which is correct. We know that thymosin is a hormone which is synthesized by the thymus gland, and it plays a key role in immune system development. So it helps mature T cells, which is essential for adaptive immunity. So this hormone supports the body's ability. To recognize and respond to pathogens effectively. It plays a key role in T lymphocyte maturation. While this is in the primary function, thymosin does not have some effects on B lymphocytes. So this is question number 8, and the question is a complex molecular interaction of thyroid hormones involves. So we have given 4 options. We have to opt the correct one. So here option number C is correct. It is deiodinase converting to T4 into T3 in target tissues. So let's talk about them, T3 and T4. We know thyroid hormone. We know T4 is the primary hormone secreted by the thyroid gland, and it plays a key role in regulating metabolism, growth, and development. Whereas T4 is converted to T3, the more active form in various tissues throughout the body. So T3 is more biologically active than T4, playing a key role in regulating metabolism, growth, and development. So it influences cellular function by binding to nuclear receptors, affecting gene expression and energy utilization throughout the body. So it is mainly generated in the periphery through the conversion of T4 by deiodinase enzyme. So this process allows for localized regulation of metabolic activity, enhancing the biological effect of thyroid hormones without directly involving the thyroid gland's activity. Let's talk about role of deiodinase. We know that thyroid hormones are regulated by the enzyme which is called a deiodinase, which convert the inactive hormone T4 into active form T3 by removing one iodine ion, or we can say atom. So this process increases the ability of T3, enhancing its metabolic effects in the body. So thyroid hormone conversion mainly happens in specific body tissues that respond to these hormones. So this process allows the hormone to be more effectively used by the cells, enhancing their biological impact without involving direct activity. So, thyroid hormone regulation involves the iodinase D1, D2, and D3, which modify thyroid hormones by removing iodine atoms. So, these enzymes influence hormone availability and activity, and it plays a key role in metabolism and cellular function across different tissues. So, this local conversion ensures balanced thyroid hormone levels by transforming inactive T4 into active T3, supporting metabolic function and overall health without directly referencing activity. Question number 9, and it is of match the following type. So we have given 2 columns, column 1 and column 2. We have to correctly column 1 with column 2. And we have given 4 options, and we have to opt the correct one. So let's see the answer. So here option number E is correct, which is pineal gland is matched with 3, which is located above cerebrum. And then thyroid gland is matched with 4, which is located in neck region. Then parathyroid gland is matched with 1, which is located behind thyroid. And D, which is thymus, is matched with 2, which is located in upper thorax. Let's discuss about them in detail. Let's talk about pineal gland first. So we know that it is a small endocrine gland located in the brain, specifically above the cerebrum. It produces melatonin, which regulates sleep patterns. And then talking about thyroid gland is located in the front of the neck region. It wraps around the trachea, or we can say windpipe, and it produces thyroid hormones T3 and T4. Then in this lecture, we also talked about parathyroid gland, which is the small four, we can say four small glands located behind the thyroid gland. They produces the parathyroid hormone or PTH, which regulates calcium levels. Then we also talked about thymus. It is located in the upper thorax chest behind the sternum. It is important for T cell development in the immune system as well. Okay, so your option number C was correct. So these are some key facts, or we can say interesting facts of this chapter. About this chapter, we know that pineal gland is also called as third eye in the lizard. Okay, and we also talked about melatonin, but in spite of this, melatonin it is also an antioxidant. Okay, it is important. It is responsible for circadian cycle, but it is also an oxidant. Then we also talked about thyroid gland, and it is butterfly shaped gland in the neck. Okay. In thyroid gland, we can say thyroid is the first endocrine gland to develop in embryo. Hyperparathyroidism can cause kidney stones. So these are some interesting questions. So you can, after the completion of the chapter, you can solve these questions to check your concept, to check the understanding of this chapter. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope this lesson was useful.